Hi, this is Jack Healey, and you're watching PEGTV's Sports Rewind.
Hello and welcome to Channel 15 Sports, your source for local televised high school sports. Tonight's contest is the playoff match between number 2, Raiders of Rutland High School, and the number 3, Mount Anthony Patriots. Tonight's production team includes producer Joe Courcelle and cameraman Ken Bates. Your announcers are the incomparable Jack Healey and Craig Saia of WSYB Radio.
So we're going to get right to it here. The Division I semis, and it's Rutland High hosting Mount Anthony. A good crowd here at Alumni Field. Now, it was raining a little bit earlier. It's a very fine rain, if indeed it's still raining, and a little bit chilly, but not a bad night for football. Back deep, Eric Gauthier and Kevin Burgoyne for the Raiders to receive the boot by Justin Kubilia. Of course, the winner goes on to the Division I state title game a week from tonight in Essex. Here's the Kubilia boot, and we're underway here at Alumni Field. It sends Burgoyne way back to the 5-yard line. Burgoyne takes it right across the 10, and Burgoyne is going to be run down at the Raider 14-yard line by Ryan Lacasse on the special teams. Jack Healey on board with Craig Sayre, and it was a lengthy interview with John Beerworth, and not a lot of time to talk about the game coming up because they're zipping along here. 1st and 10 for the Raiders.
They're getting right out. Expecting a tough game tonight. Again, Mount Anthony, the only team to beat MSJ so far this year. They've been beaten so far by the Rutland team 13-0. Also got beat by BFA 16-14 a couple weeks ago.
Keith Parker over the football. Steve Carey will go as long as he can tonight. He's a setback along with Kevin Burgoyne, and the wing back is Nathan Belomo. John Stempek, the starting quarterback. 1st and 10 for the Raiders as the handoff goes to Carey straight ahead. And he picks up a yard, maybe 2, out to the 16-yard line. We'll call it 2nd and 8. Peter Baldwin on the stop for the Mount Anthony Patriots. They're going to mark it at the Raiders' 16-yard line.
Again, Rutland wants to try to get some sort of ground game going to control the clock a little bit, keep it away from the explosiveness of the Mount Anthony offense. They run the ball very well. Also with Laughlin, their quarterback, they have a good, strong passing game, and so Rutland wants to kind of keep the ball away from them.
Anderson is tight left. Eric Bliss is in tight right. Belomo a wing on the right. Carey and Burgoyne are the setbacks behind the junior quarterback, John Stempek. Just underway here in this one as the handoff goes to Burgoyne's got some room. 25 across the 30 and across the 35, dropped at the Raider 36-yard line. Great run by Kevin Burgoyne, a pickup of 20 and a Raider first down. Bryce Wade on the stop. They're going to mark it at the Raider 35-yard line. 1st and 10. We're just underway. 10:47 remaining first quarter. No score here at Alumni Field.
Again, Kevin Burgoyne using that sprinter speed of his, goes off tackle and just cuts back and gets a nice gain and picks up a big first down.
Going to mark it near the right side hash mark. Again, Burgoyne and Carey are the setbacks. Belomo's a wing on the left now. The ends are tight. Matt Mackinnon tight left. Anderson tight right as Stempek barks him out. Stempek on the handoff to Burgoyne, sweeps it right, looking for room inside, cuts it to the outside, and he's driven out of bounds here near sideline, right around the Raider 38-yard line. A pickup of about 3, we'll call it 2nd and 7. Bounced out by a couple, Doug McClenathan, along with John George, here near sideline to bounce him out.
That time it looked like they had Kevin Burgoyne shut off as they came to our near side here, but he was able to get outside and pick up a couple of yards, and again, the Raiders able to get something on first down.
2nd down and 7 for Rutland High. They have it at their own 38-yard line, the first offensive series of the football game here. The Division I semis. Bliss is in wide left. Anderson's tight right. Couple of setbacks behind Stempek. Belomo's in motion right to left now. Stempek slips and falls on the play action, and he loses yardage all the way back to the Raider 34-yard line. He lost about 4. It'll be 3rd down and 11. Stempek, we mentioned there was a very fine rain here. Not really a driving rain, but it's probably a little bit slick down there on the field.
Also with the cold temperatures, the field getting real slick. They're swapping the balls in after plays and getting them dry, but at that time, John Stempek just tripped on the field there, lost his footing.
And we have an official's timeout here. I'm not sure what it's all about. The Raiders have it 3rd and 11 at their own 34-yard line. They got the opening kick. They picked up a first down, and they now have it 3rd down and 11. Things set to go now. 9:52 remaining first quarter, no score. Burgoyne and Carey the setbacks. Malomo's in motion right to left from his wingback spot. The handoff to Burgoyne, and he takes it right. No room there. He wanted to go outside, then took it inside, and picked up maybe a half yard, just shy of the 35-yard line. Jason Powers on the tackle. They're going to mark it at the 36-yard line, just across the 35, and the Raiders have it 4th and 9, and they'll have to boot the football away here.
That time, and Mount Anthony got some penetration, came across the line of scrimmage, and just really stuffed the play at the point of attack. No room for Kevin Burgoyne.
Chad Lacasse is back in single safety for the Patriots around the Patriot 29-yard line. Justin Washburn back around the Raider 20 to boot it away here. And the snap is a little high, but Washburn's got it, and he gets the boot away. And it goes to Lacasse at the 37, across the 40, 45, and still on his feet, and then finally ridden down around the Mount Anthony 47-yard line. Luke Dauphiné getting down there to make the tackle along with Jeff Sinn. So the Patriots go on the offense for the first time in this one tonight. 1st and 10 at their own 48-yard line. That's where they're going to mark it. Going right to left in the first quarter. The Raiders going left to right. We have 8:57 remaining in the quarter. No score.
The time Justin Washington did a nice play. They snap a little bit high, able to get it off a good kick, and Lacasse broke a tackle early on and got a nice return out of it.
Lacasse is wide left. Dan Laughlin Jr. is the quarterback. He's a junior. And we call him Dan Laughlin Jr. His dad, Dan Laughlin Sr., is the Mount Anthony coach.
Somebody left a pad or something on the field, and the trainer, one of the assistants for Rutland coming out to recover it.
Tony Bernor is the up back. Berard is the deep back out of the eye. John George is wide right as Laughlin barks him out. 1st and 10 Mount Anthony. The Patriot 48-yard line. And the handoff to Bernor straight ahead inside the 45, inside the Raider 40, and he dives his way inside the Raider 35. Dropped at the Raider 34-yard line. Matt Mackin on the tackle for Rutland High on the first play from scrimmage. Bernor took it straight ahead. Picked up a Mount Anthony first down.
Just a straight dive play. Bernor, a big, strong kid, popped through the hole and broke a couple tackles in the line of scrimmage, rambled through the secondary, and Matt Mackin able to wrap him up by the legs and save a touchdown early on for the Raiders.
A 17-yard pickup for Tony Bernor. 1st and 10 Mount Anthony at the Raider 34. They mark it between the hash marks. Can they operate out of the eye? They got a man wide right. Lacasse is wide left. Bernor the up back, Berard the deep back out of the eye, and it goes to the deep back. Berard off right tackle, and he picks up a couple of tough yards down to the Raider 32-yard line. It'll be 2nd and 8 for Mount Anthony. Jacob Downey over there to wrap him up along with Steve Carey.
That time Keith Parker got some penetration from his defensive tackle position, couldn't make the stop. Very important, the defensive tackles for Rutland played a tough game and shut off the dive play and forced Mount Anthony to go away from that.
Give them one, call it 2nd and 9 for the Patriots as they mark it at the Raider 33-yard line. 7:35 remaining first quarter, no score. Lacasse wide left, George wide right. Now the setbacks are split behind Laughlin, Bernor, and also Berard. Laughlin, the junior quarterback, is a good one for the Mount Anthony Patriots, and we have penalty markers down, and this might have been too much time. Delay of game against Mount Anthony. It is delay of game against Mount Anthony, so they'll move it back to the Raider 38-yard line, and the Patriots will have it 2nd down and 14.
That time the play came in from the sideline a little bit too long. Mount Anthony in the huddle a little bit longer than they should have been. When they got to the line of scrimmage, Laughlin called a lot of signals and took too much time.
Again, Lacasse wide left and George wide right. This time they operate out of the eye. Bernor is the up back. The deep back is Berard. 2nd down play. Quick drop. Laughlin fires right. Is complete in the flat to George, and he picks up a couple to the Raider 35-yard line. That's it. And he was tackled immediately.
Just a quick slant pattern there. What happens, the receiver takes a step across the line of scrimmage, and Laughlin puts the ball right out there. Got about 5 yards, but they're going to be faced with a 3rd and long now.
Picked up about 3.5 yards or so. It'll be 3rd down and 10 for the Patriots, just inside the Raider 35-yard line. We'll call it the 34. As Burgoyne that made the tackle on that play for Rutland High. Right side hash mark, 2 wideouts left. Again, they operate out of the eye. Laughlin has a 3rd down play here for the Patriots. Laughlin on the option takes it right after faking to the first man. Nothing doing. Picks up maybe a half yard, and that's it, as he was driven back. And Mount Anthony will be faced with a 4th down and about 10 here. Steve Carey on the tackle for Rutland High. It'll be 4th down and a little over 10 yards to go for the Patriots. Then lost actually about a half yard. The ball marked just inside the Raider 35-yard line.
Both times we've seen the Mount Anthony Patriots this season very successful running the option. That time Steve Carey got good penetration from his inside linebacker position and wrapped Lothwood up about, as Jack said, about a yard loss.
Burgoyne and Gauthier back deep. As Mount Anthony looking for field position here. Will punt it from the Raider 34. Kabelia back around the Raider 48 to boot it away here. The snap is a good one, and Kabelia gets the boot away, angles it toward the far sideline, and this is going to come up way short. Goes out of bounds. Let's see where they mark it. It's inside the 20.
They got a much better spot than it looked like from our
It looked like it went out of bounds.
About 25.
Right around the 25. Actually, they're going to mark it inside the 15, right around the 13-yard line. Little surprised on that one. That was across the way, but the Raiders go on the offense for the second time, 1st and 10 at their own 13. He got a very good spot, I thought. 5:37 remaining first quarter, no score. The Raiders on their second offensive series of the football game. Carey and Burgoyne are the setbacks. Behind John Stempeck, the ends are tight. Palomo is a wing on the left. Stempeck now on the handoff to Burgoyne. Cuts it to the outside to the 15. Burgoyne across the 20 and dropped at the Raider 22-yard line. A pickup of 9 for Kevin Burgoyne. It'll be 2nd and 1 for the Raiders. Doug McClenathan in there on the stop for the Mount Anthony Patriots. Kevin Burgoyne saw nothing inside and took it toward the outside.
This time Kevin did a good job of setting up his blockers. He faked inside and set up the lineman, and the pulling guard was able to knock him down. That time he got around the outside. Also, Steve Blanchett pulling on that, got a good block downfield, and Kevin Burgoyne got a nice run out of it.
Keith Parker over the football. He leads him out. Bliss is in tight right. Anderson tight left. Again, Carey and Burgoyne the setbacks. Wing left is Palomo. 2nd down, less than a yard for the Raiders. As the handoff goes to Carey straight ahead. Didn't get much, but he didn't need much. Squeezed his way out to about the 23. It appears to be a 1st down from here. We'll wait and see. Seth Normile on the tackle for Mount Anthony. And apparently they don't give him that spot. Well, maybe they are. Now they finally are going to call for the measurement here.
Very important with the Raiders being backed up like they are to get a couple 1st downs, give themselves some breathing room. And I think that was one of the things that Laughlin, the coach of Mount Anthony, was thinking about when he played last time. Wanted to try to back them up with this good punter and try to play the field position game.
And apparently it'll be about an inch or two shy. It'll be 3rd down and just about an inch for the Raiders at their own 23-yard line. No score, 4:39 remaining first quarter. The Division I semis in high school football. And tonight we're at Alumni Field. Great crowd. The stands are packed, and a good crowd on the banking across the way, too. Right side hash mark. So it's 3rd down and inches for the Raiders, their own 23-yard line. 3rd down and inches. It's more like 3rd down and an inch. Burgoyne and Carey are the setbacks. Anderson tight right, Mackin in tight left, Palomo a wing on the left. John Stempeck, the junior quarterback, barks him out now. Stempeck fakes and then takes it left on the option. He's going to lose yardage all the way back to about the 16-yard line as they ran wide and lost about 7. Chris Berard on the tackle for Mount Anthony, and now the Raiders are faced with a 4th down and about 6, and they'll have to boot it away. They had 3rd and inches, took it wide, lost yardage, and now they'll have to boot the football away here.
Play a little slow developing that time, and Berard got good penetration for the Mount Anthony, and able to rack up Stempeck for about a 4 or 5 yard loss.
And the Raiders have it at their own 17, so Washburn back to the 3 to boot it away. Good snap. He gets the kick away, and Lacasse grabs it at the 50-yard line, then fumbles the football, and the Raiders have recovered. The Raiders have recovered. They'll have it 1st and 10 at the Mount Anthony 43-yard line. And getting down there to recover the fumble was Jacob Downey.
Lacasse gambled on that. It was a high booming kick by Washburn. Somebody for the Raiders got right down there, hit him just as he caught the football, popped it loose, and Jacob Downey right on the spot there, and the first big turnover goes to the Raiders.
For the Raiders, who missed out on a 3rd and inches and lost yardage, get the first break of the football game. Jacob Downing recovering the fumble, and the Raiders have it in great field position. 1st and 10 at the Mount Anthony 43-yard line, going left to right here in the first quarter, a scoreless ball game. In motion now is Belomo left to right. Stempeck play action, throws right, complete to Belomo at the 35, and Belomo ridden out of bounds. Right around the Mount Anthony 30 or so. John George, the man who rumbled him out here near sideline. Let's see where they mark it. As they bring it toward the middle of the field, they're going to mark it at the Mount Anthony 31. Pick up 12 and a Raider first down.
A good call there by John Beerworth. Going to the pass, run away after the big play, and Latham Belomo ran a little out pattern, and John Stempeck put the ball right on the money, and Nathan able to get the first down and a little bit more.
3:15 remaining first quarter, no score. The Raiders have it 1st and 10, the Mount Anthony 31-yard line. Right side hash mark. We're going and carry the setbacks. The ends are tight. Belomo in motion, right to left. Stempeck now drops it back, throws it left. It is complete to Belomo inside the 25-yard line. Then he gets rumbled out of bounds across the way by Chad Lacasse. Right around the 23-yard line or so. Picked up about 8. It'll be 2nd and 2 for the Raiders at the Mount Anthony 23-yard line.
That's how they just ran the same play to the other side. Stempeck rolls out to his left, and Nathan Belomo in the flat. The ball right there, and the Raiders going to the passing attack. Stempeck getting good time, and then they're getting the Mount Anthony defense off balance.
Back in is Matt Mackin. He's wide right now. Tight left will be Anderson. Again, Burgoyne and Carey are the setbacks. 2nd down play for Stempeck and company. Belomo's in motion left to right. Stempeck on the handoff down to Burgoyne. Sweeps it left, cuts it inside, and he's inside the 15-yard line down to about the 13 or so. Pickup of 10 for Kevin Burgoyne as he slipped left and then cut it against the grain, and the Raiders have it 1st and 10. Chris Berard on the tackle for Mount Anthony.
Again, the Raiders putting together a good drive here. They got the excellent field position to the 43, a couple of passes on the first 2 downs, and they went with the Kevin Burgoyne sweep, and they got the first down.
And they have it 1st and 10 at the Mount Anthony 13-yard line. They'll mark it at the left side hash mark. No score, 2:56 remaining first quarter.
Kevin Burgoyne over on the sidelines. He appeared to be shaken up on that play.
Couple of setbacks behind the quarterback Stempeck. 1st and 10 for the Raiders. Stempeck on the handoff to Carey, takes it left toward the far sideline and gets it down inside the 10 to about the 9-yard line. Pick up a 4, it'll be 2nd and 6. McClenathan on the tackle along with Berard for Mount Anthony. They're going to mark it just about at the 10-yard line here. Pick up a 3.
Steve Carey finding some running room outside. Very impressive drive. The Rutland offensive line opening some holes for him. Steve Carey able to break a couple tackles and rumble in for a good game.
Where are they going to mark it? It is inside the 10. It's at about the 6. Well, picked up pretty good yardage, about 8 yards or so. 2nd down and 1 for the Raiders at the 6. The handoff to Carey, and Carey takes it left. Only needed about 1.5 yards, and he was dropped after a pickup of a couple. Wade on the tackle.
They called a little bit short there, the first down again. To Steve Carey trying to go off tackle that time. The same play that ran the previous play. That time, Mount Anthony got a little bit better penetration.
So it's 3rd down and about a yard for the Raiders at the Mount Anthony 4-yard line. With 1:26 left first quarter, no score, and Rutland wants a timeout. So we got a timeout on the field. We'll be back after this 30-second break. Yard at the Mount Anthony 4-yard line, going left to right here in the first quarter. They mark it at the left side hash mark. 1:26 left first quarter, and there was no score. This drive set up on a fumble recovery by Jacob Downey. The Raiders had to punt, and Chad Lacasse fumbled the punt and was recovered by Downey. They're going and carry the setbacks. The ends are tight, and Belomo is a wing on the left. John Stempeck barks him out now. Stempeck on the handoff to Carey, takes it straight ahead, and he busts his way down to about the 1 or 2 yard line, but it is a Raider first down. They'll have it 1st and goal. And on the tackle for Mount Anthony, Peter Baldwin. 1st and goal for the Raiders at the Mount Anthony 2-yard line.
There's just going to power football there, and Steve Carey will pick his way through and get down just about to the goal line and pick up the first down.
Carey and Burgoyne the setbacks. Palomo a wing on the right. The ends are tight. First and goal for the Raiders, the Mount Anthony 2. Stempeck now on the handoff to Carey, and he pushes his way into the end zone. Touchdown. Steve Carey on the touchdown. The Raiders lead at 6-0. 59 seconds remaining first quarter. A 2-yard touchdown run for Steve Carey.
That caps a 43-yard drive for the Raiders. Steve Carey just went off the left tackle, got hit at the line of scrimmage, but just kept driving ahead and only needed about a yard or so and just able to go over and get the touchdown.
Well, give him a 2-yard touchdown run as the Raiders lead at 6-0 with 59 seconds remaining here in the first quarter. The Jacob Downey fumble recovery setting up the Raider touchdown. Stempeck is the holder. Rich Buzzard in to attempt the extra point. Stempeck gets it down. The kick is up. And it hit the crossbar, I believe. It's no good.
I think one of the Mount Anthony players came through and blocked it partially.
It looked like somebody did get a piece of it, and it almost got through anyway. So the kick is no good. 6-0 Rutland back with a kickoff after this 30-second timeout. He's setting up the touchdown drive on a fumble recovery at the Mount Anthony 43. The Raiders eventually punch it in. A 2-yard plunge by Steve Carey. The kick no good, and the Raiders lead at 6-0 in the Division I semis here at Alumni Field tonight. 59 seconds remaining first quarter.
Looks like Tom Gutty might have got through from Mount Anthony on that point after and got a piece of it. It just hit the crossbar and came a little bit short, so the Raiders find themselves up 6-0, but a very impressive job. They mixed in a couple passes, and then they went to the power football with running of Steve Carey. Also got a nice run by Kevin Burgoyne. Very good to get out ahead of in a game like this, but Mount Anthony very explosive. They can get some points back in a hurry.
I thought somebody hit it at first, but the kick looked like it was well on its way. Buzzard on the kick now after the touchdown as Chad Lacasse and Chris Berard are back deep for the Mount Anthony Patriots. And here's the kick by Buzzard. This will go to Lacasse at the 19-yard line, across the 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 45, 40, down the sideline, 35, finally dropped at the Raider 28-yard line by Matt Mackin. Matt Mackin saved the touchdown as Lacasse almost took it all the way.
That's the second touchdown Matt Mackin has saved for the Raiders at the time. That time Lacasse came up, it was kind of a high short kick, and it was like a line of scrimmage where he got the ball. He popped right through it, ran through a couple arm tackles, got to the sideline here, and Matt Mackin showing very good speed, had the angle on him and forced him out of bounds and saved the touchdown.
And that back about 53 yards or so. It's 1st and 10 Mount Anthony at the Raider 28-yard line. After the Raiders have broken out on top by a score of 6-0. Left side hash mark. Two wideouts right, a lone setback behind Dan Laughlin Jr., the quarterback. So he barks him out. 1st and 10 for the Mount Anthony Patriots. And Laughlin goes to the first man through, nothing doing. The lone setback, Tony Bernor, tackled immediately by Justin Anderson. It'll be 2nd and 10 for Mount Anthony at the Raider 28. The Raiders lead at 6-0, 24 seconds remaining here in the first quarter.
Again, Mount Anthony with excellent field position. They've had good field position all game long. That time after the big kickoff return, but that time Justin Anderson got some penetration and racked up the running back before he actually got back to the line of scrimmage.
Left side hash mark. Again, a couple of wideouts right, a couple of setbacks as the handoff goes to Berard off left tackle. Berard inside the 25 to about the 24. Then he gets driven back, picked up about 4. On the tackle, Nathan Palomo. He had some help. Justin Anderson over there as well. Picked up 4. It'll be 3rd down and 6. And that's the end of the first quarter here at Alumni Field. And after 1, the score, Rutland 6, Mount Anthony nothing. We'll be back after this 30-second timeout. We'll have it 3rd down and 6 at the Raider 24-yard line. Rutland 6, Mount Anthony nothing. And Mount Anthony going left to right here in the second quarter. Rutland going right to left.
The big play in the first half was the punt where Samuel Riley, the Mount Anthony return man, Jacob Downey recovered. The Raiders go to get a 2-yard touchdown run from Steve Carey to go up 6 points, but then Mount Anthony comes right back and gets a big kickoff return by Lacasse, and they have excellent field position. Now they're facing a 3rd and 7 about the inside the 30-yard line.
It's inside the 25, actually, at the 24. 3rd down and 6 for Mount Anthony. Wide right, Lacasse. This time they have the wishbone set behind Laughlin. 3rd down play. Laughlin play action, drops it back, shoots it right, and he overthrows Lacasse down around the Raider 5-yard line. Lacasse well covered by Gauthier and Burgoyne. It'll be 4th and 6 for Mount Anthony at the Raider 24.
We talked about Laughlin having a strong arm. That time his receiver covered very well downfield with the 2 Rutland defenders, and he just overthrew Lacasse and wisely because he was covered very well.
Tom Gutty was the other setback along with Berard and Bernor out of the wishbone set. And now into the football game is Jacques Leclerc for Mount Anthony. They'll have it 4th and 6, the Raider 24. The Raiders lead at 6-0 early going second quarter here for a big crowd at Alumni Field.
A big defensive stand here for the Raiders. If they can turn them away here, to give them a lot of momentum.
Mount Anthony now operating out of the eye, and Lacasse is wide right, back to pass Laughlin. Drops it way back, and he's going to keep. And Laughlin is tackled after picking up just about 2 yards, and that's it. And the Raiders will take over on downs. Steve Carey making the open field tackle for Rutland High. So the Raiders withstood the long kickoff return by Lacasse after their touchdown, and now take over on downs. 1st and 10 at their own 22-yard line.
That time Laughlin's pressure broke down on him. He tried to scramble for it, came up to the middle, and Steve Carey, who had dropped back in his zone defense, came up very quickly, made a shoestring tackle on Laughlin, and prevented him from getting the first down.
Parker over the football. Anderson tight left. Backing in. He's wide right. Lomo's a wing on the left. Carey and Burgoyne are the setbacks. Hand off to Burgoyne. Sweeps it left, and he's going to lose about a yard, maybe 2. Back to the Raider 21. Jason Powers on the stop for Mount Anthony.
Rutland's had pretty good success running the sweep tonight, but that time Powers, the big defensive end for Mount Anthony, fought off the blocker, stepped hacross the line of scrimmage, and able to hit Kevin Burgoyne and wrap him up and wait to get some help from his friends. And Kevin got back to about the line of scrimmage, and that's about it.
They are going to give him a pickup back to the line of scrimmage. 2nd and 10, a little over 10 actually, for the Raiders at their own 22. Ken Bates is into the football game. He'll be the tight end on the right side. Belomo will wing on the right. Again, Carey and Burgoyne are the setbacks. Stempeck on the handoff to Burgoyne, takes it left and against the grain, and he gets it across the 25 to about the 26-yard line. Pickup of 4. The Raiders will be faced with a 3rd and 6. Again, Jason Powers on the stop for Mount Anthony. Raiders lead at 6-0, 10:34 remaining first half here, as Eric Bliss is in and Ken Bates out at an end spot. Raiders scoring on a 2-yard touchdown run by Steve Carey.
Last time the Raiders were in a double tight end formation. First time we've seen that time for the season, and just giving Mount Anthony a different look, trying to get a little bit more blocking at the line of scrimmage.
Raiders have it at their own 26-yard line. 3rd down and 6. The ends are tight. Couple of setbacks behind Stempeck. Belomo in motion left to right. Stempeck now play action. Drops it back. Drops it way back. Avoids trouble. Lets fly. Wide open. Belomo inside the 45, and he's down inside the Patriot 40 at the 38 as he made a great catch. Nathan Belomo in his 1st and 10 Raiders at the Mount Anthony 38-yard line. John George on the tackle.
A great play there. Stempeck railed out, bought some time, and what happened was Nathan Belomo, when he saw his quarterback running for his life, took off down the field, got behind the defenders, and John Stempeck put the ball right on the money. Nathan Belomo made a nice over-the-shoulder catch and dribbled down the sideline for a big gain.
What a 37-yard pickup. The pass play from Stempeck to Belomo, well thrown. Nice catch by Nathan Belomo. 1st and 10 Raiders. The Mount Anthony 39-yard line. Right side hash mark. In motion again, Belomo left to right. Stempeck barks him out. Mount Anthony's offsides. Somebody jumped along the defensive line on the left side for the Patriots, and the Raiders will have it 1st and 5 at the Mount Anthony 34.
Rutland with a very impressive offensive performance here, moving the ball very well through the ground and also through the air. We've got Mount Anthony on the run here, and Mount Anthony trying to make a big play defensively, coming on a blitz, and one of the linemen get a little over anxious, and it gives Rutland 5 free yards.
So the Raiders have it 1st and 5, the Patriot 34. The Raiders already lead it in this one by a score of 6-0. Big play here on this drive, the 37-yard pass play from John Stempeck to Nathan Belomo. Right side hash mark as Parker's over the football. 9:18 remaining first half. Again, Burgoyne and Carey are the setbacks, and the ends are tight. John Stenpeck has Belomo in motion left to right now. Stenpeck drops it straight back, dumps it over the middle. It goes incomplete. He threw it behind Justin Anderson. Down around the Mount Anthony 20-yard line. So the Raiders will have it 3rd and 5 at the Patriot 34.
The time Justin Anderson ran a quick slant pattern right across the middle, and the pass was just a little bit too high for him, and that's the first incompletion for John Stenpeck. We have him 3 for 4 tonight for 57 yards. He's done a good job passing the ball.
And Mackin back in. He'll be tight right. Justin Anderson tight left. Now in the backfield is Belomo. Power I set. And the handoff to the deep back for going straight ahead. Nothing much there. Picks up maybe a yard. And Tony Bernor on the tackle for Mount Anthony. It'll be 3rd down and 5 for the Raiders at the Mount Anthony 33-yard line.
Coach Bill was using a couple different formations tonight. We've seen the 2 tight end formation. We hadn't seen that before. Also seen the power I. Just trying to give Mount Anthony a different look, trying to keep them off guard.
8:40 remaining first half. The Raiders lead it in this one by a score of 6-0. The winner goes on to the title game a week from tonight in Essex. 3rd down play coming up. Stenpeck, play action, rolls right, fakes, and then gets driven out of bounds. Right around the Mount Anthony 30 or so. Picked up about 3. So we got penalty markers down. Tony Bernor on the tackle along with McClenathan. And we'll see what the penalty marker is all about here.
That time Stenpeck rolled out to the short side of the field, really not much room to do anything, and kind of forced out of bounds at about the line of scrimmage. The penalty is against the Raiders, and I think Mount Anthony might take it. Otherwise, Rutland will be faced with a 4th and short.
It was a 3rd down play, and they are going to take it here, the penalty against the Raiders. What did they call? They're facing the other way.
Called it a holding penalty.
Was it a holding call? Okay, so it's a 10-yard penalty, and they mark it back to the Mount Anthony 44. So it'll be 3rd down, about 15 for the Raiders at that point. The Raiders lead at 6-0, 8:20 remaining here in the first half at Alumni Field.
The Raiders probably would have gone for it on 4th and about 4 yards. That's why they took the penalty to make it push him back further.
Wide left, Matt Mackin tight right, Anderson, Belomo a wing on the right, Carey and Burgoyne are the setbacks behind Stenpeck. Big 3rd down play. Belomo in motion right to left now. Stenpeck now drops it back, looking, shoots it down the middle, and it is intercepted, and down immediately is John George on the interception as he came up with it at his own 32-yard line. So Mount Anthony takes over on the interception by John George. Pass went down the middle, and John George, on a nice diving interception of Mount Anthony, takes over now, 1st and 10 at its own 32-yard line.
Stenpeck was hoping to catch Matt Mackin on a deep crossing pattern, but George came from the backside of the zone and stepped in front of the passing lane and came up with the interception.
Mount Anthony operating out of the wishbone now as the handoff goes to Lacasse, who was, or Berard rather, who was lined up deep, took it off right tackle for a yard, maybe 2. The tackle made by Eric Bliss and Steve Carey picked up a yard. It'll be 2nd and 9 for the Patriots at their own 33-yard line. The Raiders lead at 6-0, 7:40 remaining here in the first half at Alumni Field.
Mount Anthony really not getting much going offensively. The Raiders defense playing very well tonight.
George and Lacasse are both wide right as the Patriots operate out of the I. Laughlin barks him out. Laughlin takes to the first man, and the deep pitch to Berard, nothing doing. Steve Carey there along with Eric Bliss as it lost yardage. Lost a couple. Back to the 31. It'll be 3rd down, a little over 10 for the Patriots at their own 31-yard line.
Mount Anthony doesn't seem to be quite as quick tonight as were the first time we saw him. And again, the plays were developing a little bit too slow. That time, Steve Carey came in from the inside linebacker position again, flowed very well with the play and stepped in and wrapped up the running back and knocked him for a couple-yard loss with a nice, solid hit.
Bryce Wade over the football. George is a slot right, Lacasse wide right. Mount Anthony wants a timeout. When we come back, Mount Anthony will have a 3rd down, a little over 10 at their own 31. The Raiders lead at 6-0. And we'll be back after this 30-second timeout. Sayre, our engineer tonight, Mike Martin. Mount Anthony has the football. 3rd down, a little over 10 at their own 31-yard line. The Raiders lead at 6-0. Getting a touchdown in the first quarter from Steve Carey from 2 yards out. The extra point hit the crossbar. The extra point attempt. Well, it was no good. It was partially deflected. Lacasse wide left. George is a slot on the left. Anthony operating out of the eye now as Laughlin drops it back, looking, and he shoots it left, and it goes incomplete, almost picked off at the Raider 45-yard line by Matt Mackin.
Again, that one kind of got away from Laughlin. He had a couple guys deep down the field. They appeared to be open, and Mackin was in a deep zone, and the ball just sailed on Laughlin and over his intended receivers, and Matt tried to make a diving interception but couldn't come up with it. And again, the Mount Anthony forced 3 downs and out to punt.
Well, Anthony has it 4th down, a little over 10, their own 31. Gauthier and Burgoyne back around the Raider 30. Kabilia back inside his own 20, right around the Mount Anthony 17 to boot it away here. The Raiders led it by a score of 6-0. The snap is a good one. Kabilia gets the boot away. And this will go to Gauthier at the Raider 40. Takes it right and gets it out to about the 43 before he's wrestled to the ground. It will be 1st and 10 for the Raiders, their own 43-yard line. It's Gauthier who returned a punt 55 yards in the 13-0 victory for the Raiders over Mount Anthony during the regular season. Chad Lacasse making the tackle. And remember the big punt return by Burgoyne that set up a touchdown too. They won 77 yards.
Mount Anthony doing a much better job on their punt coverage tonight. Their guys going down, defending the punter, staying in the lane, and not really getting anything off. Also, Kabilia getting a little bit better punts off tonight, getting more air in his punts, giving more time to guys to get down to cover.
The ends are tight. A couple of setbacks behind Stempick. Stempick now on the handoff to Sin, who's in, and Sin sweeping it left and against the grain picks up maybe a half yard. That's it. Give him a yard. It'll be 2nd down and 9. Chad Lacasse on the tackle. About a half yard. We'll call it 2nd down and 9 for the Raiders at their own 43-yard line.
Again, Rutland trying to rescue him going on the offensive end and bringing in Jeff Sin, who the sophomore has done a great job all season for him, filling in. He was hit at the point of attack, but almost broke away from it. He has great speed and may be able to pop one against Mount Anthony.
Bush is in, tight right, Anderson tight left. And Sin and Carey are the setbacks behind Stempick. And the handoff goes to Carey straight ahead, and Carey across the 45 to about the 46. Picks up 3. Tackle by Peter Baldwin. So the Raiders have it 3rd down, about 7 at their own 46-yard line. The Raiders out front 6-0. 5:20 left here in the first half.
Again, Matt Mackin brings into play. He and Bliss, so the receivers will keep alternating the plays, bring the plays in, and see what Coach Beerwith has installed this time.
Sin still in the backfield. This is the load formation. Sin up by the line of scrimmage. Belomo is a wing on the left. The lone setback is Carey, and Belomo's in motion. Mount Anthony has jumped off sides. They bit on Belomo in motion, and this will give the Raiders a 3rd and 2. Around Mount Anthony's 49-yard line after the offsides penalty against Mount Anthony.
Again, it appeared that Mount Anthony was going to come with an all-out blitz. Had a couple linebackers up in the gas on the defensive line, trying to get a lot of pressure on Stepback on a passing down, but going a little bit of delayed count. And when Nathan Belomo went in motion, they jumped across the line of scrimmage, and now 3rd and 2 is much better than 3rd and 7 for the Raiders.
They have a 3rd and 2 at the 50-yard line. Raiders out in front 6-0. 4:48 left first half here at Alumni Field. Bliss goes wide right. And in fact, 3 wideouts right and 1 setback. Carey behind Stempick, and the pitch to Carey. Carey sweeps it right, and he's going to lose yardage back inside his own 45 to the 44. Lost about 6. Seth Normile getting back there, and he made the diving tackle, and Carey had some room there if he could have beaten Normile, and Normile did a nice job defensively.
The pitch a little bit behind Stevie. He had to slow down for a second, break stride, and catch it, and reach behind him, and allowed Normally to come from the inside defensive tackle position and trip it, but Steve did have some room around the end if he could have got there.
So it'll be 4th and 8 for the Raiders, their own 44. Washburn back to boot around his own 30. Nor is the single safety, and the kick is blocked. And Mount Anthony recovers at the Raider 33-yard line. You could see that one coming. Mount Anthony had a great rush on, and Justin Washburn never had a chance. There were 4 or 5 Mount Anthony players there. It was tough to tell which one blocked it. It might have been LeClaire.
LeClaire or Percy came through along with a couple other guys. They came right in on Washburn, and just as they went to kick the ball, they're right on to a big play. It doesn't go down the books of the turnover. A block punt here gives Mount Anthony excellent field position.
They came charging. 1st and 10, Mount Anthony at the Raider 33-yard line. The pressure again on the Raider defense. George wide right. As the handoff goes to Bernor, straight ahead, Keith Parker there to wrap him up after a pickup of a couple down to the Raider 31. It'll be 2nd and 8 for Mount Anthony.
Again, Mount Anthony's about the 3rd time they started the drive in Rutland territory, but the Rutland defense has been able to withstand the Chargers all night long. The big key is their defensive linemen are getting some penetration, also tying up the offensive linemen and allowing Steve Curry to make a lot of tackles in this linebacker position.
A cast wide left, wide right, George. Mount Anthony's 2nd down and 8. Back to pass as Laughlin shoots it down the middle, and it goes incomplete. He wanted his big tight end, Jason Powers, down around the Raider 14. Covered well by Jacob Downey. Actually, they had that one, Eric Gauthier was down the field as well. They had that one pretty well covered. Mackin and Bliss were over there as well. So it'll be 3rd down and 8 for Mount Anthony at the Raider 31. Mount Anthony wants a timeout. 3:06 left first half. The Raiders lead at 6-0. We'll be back after this 30-second break.
Here to help me promote, advocate.
6-0, 3:06 remaining first half. The Raiders scoring on a 2-yard touchdown plunge by Steve Carey in the first quarter. Mount Anthony has it 3rd and 8 at the Raider 31-yard line after the block punt here. George is a slot left, Lacasse wide left as Mount Anthony operates out of the eye. Laughlin, play action, drops it back, looking, pumps once, throws right. It is complete to George, and George is bounced out of bounds right around the Raider 21-yard line or so. It picked up 10. Eric Bliss here near sideline to bounce him out. Clock stops with 2:59 remaining in the first half. They're going to mark it at the Raider 22-yard line.
The time Laughlin had good pass protection, and he caught George coming across on the crossing pattern, put the ball right on the money and got the first down.
Berard and Bernor are the setbacks, and the reverse goes to Berard as he takes it right. He's going to lose yardage. Rustled to the ground by Eric Bliss here near sideline. Lost a couple back to the Raider 24 unless they give him his forward progress. We'll wait until they put it toward the middle of the field. Lost about a yard.
Mount Anthony trying a little trickery with the inside reverse, but both Eric Bliss and Justin Anderson did a good job of holding the position, and Eric able to grab him, hold him literally by the shirt sleeve, and just wrestle him down to the ground for about a yard loss.
2nd and 11 for the Patriots at the Raider 23-yard line. Couple of wideouts left for Mount Anthony. One setback. They got a wing on the left side. Laughlin, long count. Laughlin to Bernor, straight ahead, and just a couple to the 20, maybe the 19, and that's it. Steve Carey there on the stop for Rutland High. Picked up about 3. They're going to mark it at the 20. It'll be 3rd down and 9.
In the earlier games that we saw Mount Anthony, they were able to establish Bernor, the big running fullback, and teams had to work on stopping him, and everything worked off him. But tonight, Rutland's done a good job of taking that away from him, as Mount Anthony hasn't been able to establish the running game.
Lacasse goes wide left. 1:48 remaining first half. The Raiders lead at 6-0. Play action, Laughlin. Looking, still looking. Fires it left toward the end zone, and it goes incomplete. He overthrows his intended receiver in the end zone. Chad Lacasse covered by Matt Mackin. It'll be 4th down and 9 for the Patriots at the Raider 20-yard line.
Matt Mackin has earned a starting job halfway through the season. Has done a very good job in the defensive secondary position. That time he did a good job, came up on George, and good pass coverage, and the ball just again sailed from Laughlin and went out of bounds.
Cabelia is going to try a field goal here. They'll mark it down at the Raider 27. It'll be a 37-yard field goal attempt, slight angle off to the right. Cabelia for Mount Anthony. The kick is up, and the kick is good. Justin Cabelia, a 37-yard field goal for the Mount Anthony Patriots. It's 6-3. Rutland back with a kickoff after this 30-second timeout. Cabelia of Mount Anthony has just hit a 37-yard field goal, and that made it by plenty. And Rutland now leads it 6-3 with 1:30 remaining first half. It was Cabelia, of course, who hit a 34-yard field goal. The only scoring in the Mount Anthony MSJ game earlier in the year.
But in a way, Rutland's going to feel good about that. And Mount Anthony had excellent field position after the block punt at their own 33-yard line of Rutland, and all they got out of it was a field goal. So Coach Beerworth got to be kind of pleased about that. Obviously didn't want to give up any points, but didn't give up a touchdown. And his team still has a 6-3 lead. They've got about a minute and a half to go here in the half, and they do have 2 timeouts to go.
There's Cabelia. We've been watching him for a couple of years. He certainly is a weapon.
has a nice strong leg, and that kick was would have been good from another 5 or 10 yards, it looked like.
Burgoyne and Gauthier back deep for the Raiders to receive the Kabelia boot after his 37-yard field goal. 6-3 Rutland, a minute 30 remaining first half here at Alumni Field, the Division I semis. And here is the kick by Kabelia, and this will send it Burgoyne back to the 10-yard line, takes it right, 15, 20, 25, Burgoyne 30, 35, stutter steps. Burgoyne gets it out to the 38-yard line before he's finally dropped. Kevin Burgoyne had one or two more guys to beat. He might have taken it 90 yards for a touchdown. McClenathan on the tackle for Mount Anthony.
McClenathan made a lot of tackles already for Mount Anthony, and that time he made a nice open field tackle on Kevin Burgoyne, but the Raiders should have pretty good field position, but there is a penalty marker down.
Yeah, even if he went all the way, it would have been called back. Probably a clip from the point of infraction. And let's see where they're finally going to have it here. Point of infraction is right around the 25-yard line. From there, it would be half the distance to the goal line. Back to the 15. Did they finally call it a clip? Must have been.
Yes.
First and 10 for the Raiders, their own 15-yard line, going right to left here in the second quarter. 6-3, Rutland in front with a minute 15 left in the half. They're going back in along with Carey. I believe we have a new quarterback. That might be Anagnos in there. Jimmy Anagnos is in. Play action fake. Anagnos lets it fly. And he's got Anderson in his own 45, 50, 45, 40, 35, 30. And Anderson is inside the Mount Anthony 20-yard line. Jimmy Anagnos found Anderson, who beat everybody. Great throw by Anagnos and a great kick by Anderson. And the Raiders are in business. First and 10 at the Mount Anthony 19-yard line. What a throw by Jimmy Anagnos. 55 seconds left in the first half. McClenathan making the stop.
Basically, Jimmy threw about as far as he could. Jimmy and Justin Harrison was on the far sideline, and from us, caught the ball in and just went down the sideline. Justin has pretty good speed, but the defensive backs, McClenathan had really good speed and were able to run him down, but a big play for the Raiders, and a
67-yard pass from Jimmy Anagnos to Justin Anderson. And Anagnos, the sophomore quarterback, first and 10 for the Raiders, the Mount Anthony 19. Jimmy Anagnos now on the handoff to Burgoyne. Sweeps it left. Burgoyne to the 15. Burgoyne is down at the Mount Anthony 14-yard line. Chad Lacasse making the tackle. What a throw by Jimmy Anagnos. 44 seconds left here in the half, and the Raiders want a timeout. And the Raiders will have it second down and about 5. That was a pickup of 5 for Burgoyne as the Raiders have it at the Mount Anthony 14-yard line. We'll keep it right here. Jimmy Anagnos, who just checked in on that play, threw it 67 yards, and Justin Anderson did a nice job catching it too, but it was well thrown.
Yes, Jimmy has a little bit stronger arm than John Stenbeck. He's a little bit bigger kid, and like we said, he just kind of rolled out to his right, threw the ball basically as far as he could. Justin Anderson from his tight end position got to the far sideline, made a nice catch, and ran down the sideline and showed some pretty good speed. A nice stiff arm, pick up another 5 or 10 yards, and a big play for the Raiders. And if they can get some points going into the second, into halftime, it would be a big lift for them.
Coach John Beerworth did tell me earlier in the week that we can all expect Jimmy Anagnos to see some action here. The sophomore quarterback didn't get a chance to say that on our pregame show because after our interview, we got right into the ball game here as they just zip things along. The Raiders have it second down and 5 at the Mount Anthony 14-yard line. The Raiders lead at 6-3, 44 seconds remaining in the first half. Going and carry the setbacks, and Anagnos the quarterback. They got a man wide right. Palomo is a wing on the left, and he's in motion left to right now. Jimmy Anagnos drops it straight back, rolls right, being chased, throws right. He overthrows Matt Mackin down around the Mount Anthony 5-yard line. It'll be 3rd and 5 for the Raiders at the Mount Anthony 14. Clock stops with 38 seconds remaining first half.
That time Jimmy really didn't have any time to throw. Mount Anthony got a good pass rush on him. He was looking for Matt Mackin on a deep out pattern, but as you said, Jimmy was pressured very hard, just kind of threw the ball away wisely to prevent an interception or a turnover.
Mark it at the left side hash mark as Eric Bliss comes trotting into the football game for Rutland High. Raiders have it 3rd down and 5.
They have one timeout left.
Bliss will be wide left. Tight right Anderson. Gary and Burgoyne are the setbacks behind Jimmy and Agnes. In motion now is Belomo right to left. And Agnes drops it back, play action. Throws right toward the end zone. He wants Anderson, and Anderson makes the catch, and he's got the touchdown. Great catch by Anderson. He kept in bounds. An Agnes to Anderson, and the Raiders lead it now 12-3. A 14-yard touchdown pass.
That time Justin Anderson was split out a little bit wide. He ran an out pattern, and Agnes again rolling out to his right, showed a good strong arm. The ball went a long ways across field, and it looked like it might have been overthrown a little bit too much, but Justin Anderson did a good job of ruling it in and getting the touchdown. They're going for 2.
They are going for the 2 points here. A 14-yard touchdown pass from an Agnes to Anderson with 32 seconds left in the first half here at Alumni Field, the Division I semis. And the Raiders want a timeout. We got a timeout on the field. We'll be back after this 30-second break. Catch by Justin Anderson in the end zone there to stay in bounds. He was at the far sideline. 14-yard touchdown pass from Jimmy and Agnes to Justin Anderson. The Raiders lead at 12-3. They're going for 2 here. 32 seconds left in the first half.
It's a good timeout call there by the young quarterback, realizing they're kind of scrambling and they didn't want to take a delay of game penalty. When you're going for the 2-point conversions, those 5 yards can be very tough. Took a timeout, their final one, and got the coach out there. They were going to regroup and set things up all over again.
Gary and Burgoyne are the setbacks. As an Agnes barks him out here. Belomo's in motion left to right. Here's the pitch to Burgoyne. Sweeps it right, cuts it against the grain, and he's in for the 2 points. Nice run by Kevin Burgoyne. Took it right and then cut it against the grain as the Raiders go up by a score of 14-3. Back with a kickoff after this 30-second timeout.
Professional.
And Anderson, and then the 2 combined a couple of plays later. A 14-yard touchdown pass from Jimmy and Agnes to Justin Anderson to put the Raiders up 12-3. Burgoyne has taken it over for the 2 points, and the Raiders lead at 14-3. 32 seconds left first half here at Alumni Field.
Quite a 2-minute drill by the Raiders that time. They go 85 yards in about a minute, and a couple big pass plays there for the Raiders, and also a big lift momentum-wise for the Raiders. You can see Mount Anthony a little bit stunned here. They thought they were going to get back in the game after they blocked punt, got a field goal out of it, and then the Raiders come back and get a touchdown on the 2-point conversion.
Cass and Berard are back deep for Mount Anthony, which Buzzard will be doing the kicking here. And that didn't take long. Buzzard kicks it along the ground and is picked up by an up man, drops it, picks it up again as Bernor across the 30, and he's hit as he gets it to the 35, and he's dropped there by a whole bunch. They're down there to make the tackle. Steve Blanchette was down there. Luke Dauphiné was down there. It's actually Luke Dauphiné that made the hit. He was the first guy down. I'm not sure if Blanchette was down there or not, but I know Luke was. 1st and 10 for Mount Anthony at their own 35-yard line. Clock running, coming down on 15 seconds left first half. The Raiders out in front, 14-3. Cass wide left, George wide right. O'Loughlin on the handoff to Berard, and he's tripped up as he gets it to about the 40 by Steve Carey. And that is the end of the first half, and quite a first half of action here in the Division I semis in high school football. At halftime here at Alumni Field, our score, Rutland 14, Mount Anthony 3. We'll be back after this 2-minute timeout. One thing here at Alumni Field, as people know, our press box is opposite from the stands, but they're going to hear them pretty well tonight.
Yeah, very vocal crowd, a good crowd out supporting the team. It has been all season long. The stands, as Jack said, are filled. A lot of people on the bench and a few people along the fences over here on our side, so a good crowd.
I'll tell you, as far back as I can remember since night football, the stands have always been filled here. Maybe not as many people on the bankings, certainly a lot of people on the bankings tonight, but the stands are always filled. Night football that started here in 1978 at Alumni Field. Berard will be back deep along with Chad Lacasse for the Mount Anthony Patriots to receive the Rich Buzzard boot here as we get set for second half action. Rumplin High in front by a score of 14-3.
Lacasse had the big punt return about kickoff return about 55 yards in the first half.
And here's the Buzzard boot, and it comes along the ground, and it gets through the first man, and picking it up is Berard as he gets it across the 35 and across the 40 out to about the 41-yard line. Mount Anthony with pretty good field position. Justin Anderson, one of the heroes of the first half of the Raiders, making the tackle. It'll be 1st and 10 for Mount Anthony. They're on 41, going left to right here in the third quarter. Raiders going right to left. Over the football is Bryce Wade, the junior center for Mount Anthony. And a man wide right's George. Berard and Bernor, the setbacks. Powers is tied right. Back to pass, Dan Laughlin Jr. Fires down the right sideline. It goes incomplete. And it's broken up by Kevin Burgoyne, intended for George down around the Raider 42-yard line. And George was there, and Burgoyne knocked it away. 2nd and 10 for the Patriots. They're on 41.
A good play there by Kevin Burgoyne. Dropping back in the zone. It looked like George was open, but Kevin able to get a deep enough drop to stick his hand up there and knock it away. And there we talk about finally Mount Anthony throwing the football.
They mark it between the hash marks. As again, Wade leads them out. Powers tight right. Lacasse is wide left, slot left George. They operate out of the eye behind Laughlin. Laughlin on the deep handoff to Berard, straight ahead. And nothing much there. Gets back to the line of scrimmage. His tackle Ken Bates there, and also Justin Washburn. Justin Washburn, questionable, but he's played tonight. Steve Carey played as long as he could, and he's played the whole game. That was the word going in. Eric Gothier playing tonight. All of them injured Raiders. 3rd down and 10 for Mount Anthony. They're on 41-yard line. Back to the line of scrimmage. Laughlin back to pass. Looking, still looking. Fires left and incomplete. I was almost going to say a great diving catch by Lacasse, but he couldn't hang on at the Raider 47. Tried to come up with a diving catch, didn't hang on. It'll be 4th and 10 for the Patriots. They're on 41. They'll have to boot the football away here.
Lacasse ran down, cut across the middle, and got in between the zone. He was open, would have had the first down. The ball was off the mark a little bit, but Lacasse maybe could have gone for that catch, but on a wet, slippery ball like that, tough to do, and Mount Anthony has to punt. Burgoyne and Gothier back around the Raider 25-yard line or so. Kabilia back around his own 26 to boot it away for Mount Anthony. And the snap is a good one. Kabilia gets the boot away, pops it up into the air. It'll bounce in Raider territory, got out of bounds right around the Raider 46-yard line. That time he didn't get the spot as well as I thought he should. Earlier, you might remember, I thought he had a short one, and it turned out to be a rather lengthy punt. At any rate, the Raiders in excellent field position here. 1st and 10 at their own 46 as they go on the offense for the first time here in the second half. They lead it 14-3, 10:50 remaining third quarter. And let's see, it's John Stempeck back at quarterback, the junior. Burgoyne and Carey are the setbacks. Palomo wing on the left. The ends are tight. Hand off to Burgoyne. Sweeps it right. Cuts it against the grain and back outside. But it's back to about the line of scrimmage. He's still on his feet. Finally, they drive him way back to the 37-yard line. But they got to give him his forward progress here. On the stop, Gutty and Lacasse for Mount Anthony. They're going to say he lost about 3. As he kept getting hit the line of scrimmage, and Kevin almost spun out of it, and by almost spinning out of it, he got knocked about 5 yards further back than he was, but they gave him a good forward progress on that one. Well, it'll be 2nd and 13. He lost 3. The Raiders have it at their own 43-yard line near the right side hash mark. They got a man wide right, couple of setbacks behind Stempeck, and the wing on the right is Nathan Belomo. He's in motion right to left. 2nd down play for Stempeck and company, and the handoff to Carey, brings it wide left, and he dives his way across the 45 to about the 46, back to the original line of scrimmage. Lacasse on the tackle for Mount Anthony. Powers was over there as well. They mark it at the Raider 47, so he picked up 4. It'll be 3rd and 9 for Rutland High. The Raiders lead at 14-3, 9:40 remaining third quarter here. Semi-final contest at Alumni Field. Nathan Belomo's out of the football game now. Mackin is in. Bring it wide right. Tight left will be
Justin Anderson. Now the wing is Belomo, and the setbacks, or the wing rather, is Burgoyne, and the setbacks are Carey and Sin. Stempeck now. Double reverse. It goes to Sin, then to Burgoyne, and Burgoyne's going to lose yardage back to about the 43-yard line or so. Lost about 3. It'll be 4th down and about 12 for the Raiders. Berard on the tackle. So Sin got the handoff from Stempeck, who in turn went to Burgoyne on the double reverse. Burgoyne was at the wingback spot on the left side with Belomo out. The Raiders will have to boot it away here.
Mount Anthony was all over that. They knew that something was up when Kevin Burgoyne was split out there, and they did a good job of getting some penetration and nailing it for a big loss.
Washburn back to his own 30 to boot it away for the Raiders. Bernor back in single safety inside his own 25. He gets this one away, and it's a beauty. Bernor back to the 17. Takes it straight ahead, 20, 25, penalty marker down, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 45, 40. Bernor down at the Raider 38, but hold the phone, a penalty marker down. It might have been roughing the kicker. We'll wait and see.
They ran into Justin Washburn. They didn't actually knock him down because Justin's a pretty big kid, but they're going to call running into the kicker. And
running into the kicker, the call. As Bernor returned it for great yardage all the way to the Raider 38-yard line, but they're going to wipe it off the board, I believe. 8:31 left, third quarter. The Raiders in front, 14-3.
They had blocked the kick early, and again, Mount Anthony came after Justin Washburn. They got this one away, and as we said, they ran into him. They didn't quite knock him down, but they stumbled him around a little bit, and it delegates a good return there by Berard.
Or Bernor. And let's see, this
15 big ones.
The Raiders a first down, 15 yards for roughing the kicker. The Raiders have it 1st and 10 at the Mount Anthony 43-yard line.
We expected some big plays in the kicking game for Rutland. We didn't expect them on the defensive end. Here they got when they were punting, they got a 15-yard penalty, they get a first down. In the first half, they had a fumble recovery on a punt return, so they're getting kickoff return. They're getting big plays still from the special teams.
So the Raiders have it 1st and 10 at the Patriot 43 instead of the Patriots having it 1st and 10 at the Raider 38 because of roughing the kicker. Stempeck marks him out for the Raiders. Sin and Carey the setbacks, and the handoff goes to Sin. Sweeps it right, then against the grain inside the 40 to about the 38. Picks up close to 5 yards. Tony Bernor on the stop for Mount Anthony. Give them 4. Call it 2nd and 6 for the Raiders, the Mount Anthony 38-yard line.
In that time, Rutland went with the double tight end with Kenny Bates and Justin Anderson as the tight ends to give him a little more blocking strength, and Justin giving Kevin Burgoyne a rest here and doing a good job picking up a good run there.
They mark it between the hash marks. Keith Parker will lead them out. He's the center. He's over the football. Belomo's in, a wing on the right, Matt McIntyre left, couple of setbacks, Sin and also Carey behind John Stempeck. Second down play, handoff to Sin, straight ahead, 35, takes it left, 30, 25, and the brilliant sophomore down at the Mount Anthony 21-yard line. Jeff Sin and Chad Lacasse on the stop. Jeff Sin, 17 yards and a Raider first down. Great run by Jeff Sin.
Just an outstanding run, a quick dive play. Once he gets into by the linebackers, he has the speed to get outside, but a nice sharp cut around everybody, and if it wasn't for the speed of Lacasse, Jeff Sin would have had 6 points.
Well, the Raiders have it 1st and 10, the Patriot 21-yard line. The Raiders lead at 14-3, 7-10 remaining third quarter. Carey and Sin are the setbacks. The ends are tight. Belomo wing on the left as Stempeck barks him out. Stempeck on the wing back reverse to Belomo, and Belomo is going to lose yardage. As getting in there to make the stop for the Patriots was Seth Normile.
It's a couple times that Rutland has run some kind of reverse, and it hasn't worked against Mount Anthony. They're a very well-coached team, and they do a good job of holding the positions, and they're not getting out of position. That's what you're hoping to do when you get a reverse, and that time normally they're able to get through there and knock Nathan Malone for a couple-yard loss.
Loss 2 at 2nd and 12 for the Raiders, the Patriot 23-yard line. Carey and Sin the setbacks, Belomo wing on the right, McIntyre left, Anderson tied right. Stempeck barks him out. Stempeck inside, handoff, it goes to Sin, and Sin is going to be dropped as he tried to take it toward the outside, and this lost about a yard. Down at the Mount Anthony 24, Peter Baldwin on the tackle for Mount Anthony. 3rd down and 13 for the Raiders.
Again, Justin, even though he didn't get much, able to make a couple quick cuts and able to get what he was, and we talked about it's a nice luxury. You have one of the top backs in the state, and Kevin Burgoyne, you can put him on the bench and rest him on the offensive end and bring a kid in like Jeff Sin who does a very good job for you.
5:57 remaining third quarter. Rutland in front by a score of 14-3. The Raiders have it 3rd and 13 at the Mount Anthony 24-yard line. Bliss in wide right. Palomo again a wing on the left. Couple of setbacks behind John Stempek. Palomo in motion left to right. The Stempek play action drops it back. Fires down the middle, and it goes incomplete. He overthrows Justin Anderson at the goal line. Anderson covered by Chad Lacasse. It'll be 4th and 13 for the Raiders at the Mount Anthony 24-yard line.
That's how they bring Nathan Palomo in motion. They use him as a blocker. Mount Anthony able to get a pretty good pass rush on John Stempek. He threw the ball deep down the field, and Justin Anderson was pretty well covered. The ball was thrown over his head, so it was not completed or intercepted, luckily, too.
Mark it at the right side hash mark. Matt Mackin back into the football game. He and Eric Bliss alternate. Matt brings it wide left. Now they're in the load formation, sent up by the line of scrimmage. The lone setback carry, 4th down play. Stempek back to throw, throws it down the middle, and it goes incomplete. He wanted Mackin in the end zone. He threw it a little bit behind him, and Mount Anthony takes over on downs. So it'll be 1st and 10 for Mount Anthony at their own 24. Matt thought he might have been jostled a bit in the end zone.
Ball was kind of up there for grabs. He did get hit a little bit, but I think with the referee, thought it was incidental contact. Both players going for the ball, and as they say in basketball, no harm, no foul.
Rutland in front, 14-3. 5:32 left third quarter. A couple of wideouts right as Dan Laughlin and company operate out of the eye. And he goes to the first man, Bernor. Bernor for 1, maybe 2, out to the 26. Got Getz over there on the tackle.
Keith Parker also on there again.
Keith Parker was in on that play.
Getz and Parker doing a good job. They've done it all game long, and they're shutting off the dive play, and that's what Mount Anthony bases their offensive attack on, establishing the fullback in the middle. They key things off it, but they haven't been able to get that going so far tonight.
2nd down, a long 8 for Mount Anthony at the Patriot 26-yard line. They mark it between the hash marks. Lacasse is wide left, George wide right. Laughlin along the line of scrimmage on the option, pitches it back to Berard, and they're going to snuff this one out. Loses about 6 all the way back to the 20-yard line. Ken Bates was in there. Justin Anderson, Scott Getz, they were all in on that play.
I think they were trying to set up a halfback option play because Berard was trying to put the ball in his right hand. They had Leclerc, one of the flanker men, going deep down the field, but he was covered very well.
There was a penalty marker down, I believe, against Mount Anthony. And the Raiders, of course, will decline it.
A lot depends on what.
I would think, unless it's a big penalty. If it's a big one, Keith, you take it. But yet, on the other hand, they lost yardage anyway. It doesn't matter. You're in pretty good shape, no matter what decision you make. It's holding against Mount Anthony, okay. Decline it. They've lost yardage anyway. Good call, Keith. Quad captain Keith Parker. Mount Anthony has it back at its own 20. 3rd down and about 14. Slot right is George, wide right Lacasse. Again, Mount Anthony operating out of the eye. 3rd down play for Laughlin and company. Laughlin throws right, incomplete. He wanted George near sideline up around the 25 and covered nicely by Bliss and Carey. It'll be 4th down and 14 for the Patriots. They'll have to boot it away. And the Raiders again will have pretty good field position as Gauthier and Burgoyne go back deep for the Raiders around the Raider 43. Raiders in front 14-3. 4:31 left third quarter.
The Raider defense doing a tremendous job holding this offense. Mount Anthony's only got about 2 first downs all game long, and the defense doing a good job just shutting them down.
Kabilia back to the 10 to boot it away for Mount Anthony. The snap is a good one. And Kabilia gets the boot away. And this will drop in Mount Anthony territory at the Mount Anthony 43, a reverse bounce, and go out of bounds finally at the Mount Anthony 41. We have a penalty marker down. Let's see what it's about here. I don't know what that could be.
They got a good bounce that time. Rutland got a good bounce. Kabilia had a good booming kick, but it took a bounce and went back towards Mount Anthony in about 10 yards.
I think this is a penalty against Rutland. Or is it?
They're talking to the Rutland captains.
I saw Mount Anthony applauding at first here. Maybe it is against Mount Anthony. I'm not sure.
They might be calling an illegal fair catch.
Well, I think I saw Kevin Burgoyne waving his arms, but I interpreted that as meaning get away from the football. He's going to let it drop. I don't know whether they felt that it looked too much like a fair catch or not. I saw him waving, but
the Rutland captains are saying they end up talking to the Mount Anthony players about the illegal fair catch, and that's what they're waving.
Illegal procedure, they call it, and apparently that's it, and it's against Rutland. But this would only... It would make it 4th down and about 9 for the Patriots at their own 25.
The reason they have that rule is that if the player doesn't get a definite fair catch signal, he can kind of give like a half attack at a fair catch, and then get the defense to slow down and break a run. But what happened was the two deep guys were just telling everybody to get away from the ball. They called a fair catch.
Yeah, you can call for a fair catch if you let it drop, can't you?
What he was saying is that they didn't give a legal fair catch. They were just saying get away from the ball.
Yeah, all right. Kabilia back to boot, this time around his own 12-yard line. Now we got whistles and more penalty markers. And maybe this is taking too much time. What I'm saying is, even if you call for a fair catch, you can still let it drop, can't you?
You can, but that's what they call them for. They call them because when you single for a fair catch, you have to put the ball your hand clearly on top of your head, above your head, and wave it definitely. What they were saying is that Eric Gothier just said, get away from the ball, and they said that was
or Burgoyne.
Either Gothier or Burgoyne. It was not a legitimate fair catch signal.
This penalty is a legal procedure against Mount Anthony, so they move it back 5, back to the line of scrimmage the way it was before. They have it at their own 20, so we're back where we were about 20 seconds ago. Raiders lead it by a score of 14-3. 4:20 left here in the third quarter at Alumni Field. The snap is a good one to Kabilia. Kabilia against the boot away, and this will go in Raider territory as it bounces inside the 45, inside the 40, and Gothier, very dangerous, picked it up and tackled immediately at the Raider 37-yard line. It took a couple of bounces, and Eric Gothier, living on the edge, came up with it and got tackled immediately. At any rate, the Raiders
lost about 20 yards on all those changes of the punts.
Raiders have the football 1st and 10 at their own 37-yard line. Raiders with a 14-3 lead, getting a 2-yard touchdown run from Steve Carey and a 14-yard touchdown pass from Jimmy Anagnos to Justin Anderson, as well as a 2-point play from Kevin Burgoyne. The Mount Anthony scoring a 37-yard field goal in the second quarter by Justin Kabilia. Raiders have it 1st and 10. They're on 37-yard line. Heath Parker leads them out. They have it at the right side hash mark. Burgoyne back in a setback along with Carey. The ends are tied. Paloma wing on the left. On Stempek, the junior quarterback. Hand off to Burgoyne straight ahead. 40, 45, 50, 45, 40, 35, and inside the 30 and down at the Mount Anthony 27-yard line. Kevin Burgoyne, quick opener, just took it straight ahead. Lacasse on the tackle for Mount Anthony.
Nothing fancy about that except Kevin Burgoyne's speed. He just gets the ball, gets through the line of scrimmage, and you could just see him run by some of the Mount Anthony defenders, except Chad Lacasse has excellent speed, also had the angle on him, able to run him down, but again, just an explosive run by Kevin Burgoyne, and it just shows that speed he's been showing all season long, and that's what the Rutland offense has been a lot this year, just the speed of Kevin Burgoyne.
35-yard run by Burgoyne, and the Raiders have it 1st and 10. At the Mount Anthony 27-yard line. Right side hash mark. Burgoyne and Carey again are the setbacks. Wing on the right is Nathan Malomo. He's in motion right to left. Stempek barks him out. Stempek inside, handoff to Burgoyne. He's inside the 20, 15, 10, 5. He's gone. Touchdown! Kevin Burgoyne! 27-yard touchdown run as the Raiders go up now by a score of 20-3.
Kevin Burgoyne just had a 63-yard drive all by himself, had a big run before that one, and then he went off the tackle that time on a little bit of a counterplay, 27 yards, and that puts the Raiders up 20-3, pinning the extra point, and just like that, you see the explosiveness of the Raider offense, and mainly number 2, Kevin Burgoyne.
Coming with 3:10 remaining here in the third quarter, Kevin Burgoyne, who ran 35 yards on the play before that, finishes it off on a 27-yard touchdown run. It is up 20-3. Rich Buzzer to attempt the extra point. High snap, and Stempeck is going to throw as he drops it back. Stempeck throws to the end zone, and it goes incomplete. It went off the fingertips, I believe, Eric Bliss. Or maybe it was Palomo, but it went incomplete. John Stempeck did a nice job to try to turn something out of that. So the try for the extra point, no good. 3:10 remaining third quarter. The Raiders lead it by a score of 20-3. Back with the kickoff after this 30-second break. Well, some of the guys on the special teams, the Raiders, Tommy Hector out there, Jacob Downey, Chuck Gallagher, Alfred Walterscheid. Also on the special teams, Nate Szymanski. 27-yard touchdown run by Kevin Burgoyne. As the Raiders lead it by a score of 20-3. Also on the special teams, Randy Alger down there too. Kind of left a few players out. 3:10 remaining third quarter. Raiders are in pretty good shape right now as Buzzard gets set to kick it off here. And the kick will come up short. It bounces at the 35, and it just falls dead at the 33. No bounce or roll on it at all as Mount Anthony recovered as Jeff Hayes jumped on it for Mount Anthony. So Mount Anthony goes on the offense 1st and 10 at its own 33-yard line. Going left to right here in the third quarter. Raiders enjoying a 20-3 lead. Alfred Walterscheid is in defensively for the Raiders. Left side hash mark, George, wide right, Berard and Bernor. The setbacks, they have a man wide left. It's Chad Lacasse. Laughlin, the junior quarterback, drops it back to throw. Fires down the middle, and a great catch by Powers. Powers down at the Raider 46-yard line. Gauthier on the tackle. Jason Powers, the tight end, making the catch.
Powers just goes 10 right down the middle. He splits the seam of the zone, and he made a nice catch reaching behind him, and Laughlin put the ball there in a big gain there. A play they tried earlier in the game that went incomplete, but that time they were able to connect, and Powers with a big play there for the Patriots. 27-yard pickup with a pass play from Laughlin to Powers. 1st and 10 for the Patriots at the Raider 46. Onside hash mark. Laughlin marks him out for the Patriots. Laughlin on the handoff to Bernor, straight ahead inside the 45, down at about the 44. Pickup of a couple. It'll be 2nd and 8 for Mount Anthony. Laughlin in front 20-3. 2:15 left here, third quarter in the Division I semis at Alumni Field. A whole bunch of Raiders there to make the stop. Ken Bates was there. Steve Carey there as well. Again, after getting the big play with the passing, Mount Anthony goes conservative, tries to run the dive play with the fullback, and it hasn't really worked from all game long as Rutland's defense doing a good job tonight. 2nd and 8 for the Patriots, the Raider 44. Wide right, George, wide left, Lacasse, Berard and Bernor, the setbacks behind Laughlin. Laughlin drops it back, pumps once. Looking, being chased. Let's fly, long downfield, and it is intercepted on a great interception. Eric Gauthier down around the Raider 5-yard line. The intended receiver was Lacasse. Gauthier on the interception. What happened was I think it was Jacob Downey got pressure on Laughlin. He had to bring the ball down and step out a little bit, but that time the receiver got a little bit too deep for Laughlin. He had to put a little more air on the ball than he wanted to. It kind of hung up on him for a little bit, and Eric Gauthier from the deep free safety position came over and went up and got it, made a nice interception. Raiders will have it 1st and 10 at their own 4-yard line, right side hash mark. Raiders in front by a score of 20-3. 1:32 left here, third quarter. Stempeck, the quarterback here in the third quarter. We're going and Carey of the setbacks. Palomo is a wing on the left now, and the ends are tight. Stempeck now on the handoff straight ahead and punching his way out for a couple. Steve Carey. Tough to tell from this angle. Baldwin on the tackle. Picked up a couple out to the 6. It'll be 2nd and 8. They probably won't try anything fancy down here. They just want to put the ball on the ground and try to pound out some first downs, run some clock, and get themselves a little bit better field position. Gary and Burgoyne again are the setbacks. Bliss is tied left. Anderson tied right. Palomo is a wing on the left. Raiders have it 2nd down and 8. Their own 6-yard line. And off to Burgoyne straight ahead and gets it back to about the line of scrimmage, and that's it. It'll be 3rd and 8 for the Raiders. Their own 6. Percy and Gutty on the tackle. 28 seconds left, third quarter. Rutland in front by a score of 20-3. That time Percy and Gutty did a good job of getting some penetration, came across the line of scrimmage and met the running back and tackled him down for about right at the line of scrimmage, maybe a short gain.
Might have lost about a half yard. Looks like they got it just across the 5-yard line. I think they'll be content to just let it run down here in the third quarter. And that is the end of the third quarter here in the Division I semis at Alumni Field in high school football. The Raiders in control after 3. Our score, Rutland 20, Mount Anthony 3. Back at Jack Healey, Craig Saia, our engineer Mike Martin as we get set for the fourth quarter. The Raiders going left to right in the fourth quarter. Mount Anthony right to left. The Raiders lead the Patriots by a score of 20-3. The Raiders have it 3rd and 9 at their own 5-yard line.
Some of the Mount St. Joseph coaching staff went by us. Earlier we saw the Essex coach's staff here. Both teams scouting for next week's game, hopefully, and the Raiders have a big 3rd down situation here.
And they're off to our left. Some reason tonight it's easier to see inside the 10 off to our left than it is off to our right.
Things are chewed up a little bit more off to our right. That's one reason we're having trouble picking up some of the yard markers.
They're clearer on the left than they are on the right. Matt Mackin brings it wide right. Anderson tight left. Carey and Burgoyne to the setbacks. Palomo wing on the right. 3rd and 9 for Stempeck and company from the Raider 5-yard line. Stempeck on the handoff to Carey, takes it left, breaks a tackle, 10, 15, 20, across the 25 and down at the Raider 27-yard line. Steve Carey, a 22-yard pickup and a Raider first down. Lacasse on the tackle for Mount Anthony. And Steve Carey came close to taking that one on 95 yards.
He did. Steve Carey did a good job, picked his way through the line of scrimmage, and once it got by, I think Mount Anthony over pursued a little bit, and Steve with a nice run, and Lacasse has made a lot of big tackles all game long from his defensive back position, has good speed, able to run down Steve Carey.
Marking near the left side hash mark. Carey's the up back, Burgoyne the deep back. Actually, they're in the power I now. Palomo also in the backfield as the handoff goes to Burgoyne, takes it left as he gets it across the 35 to about the 37-yard line. A pickup of close to 10 yards for Kevin Burgoyne. Finally dropped by John George. Also over there on the stop was Seth Normile.
The Mount Anthony defense seems to be really tired now. They've been on the field a lot. Rutland's done a good job of running the ball, getting some first downs, mixing things up, get a couple big plays in the pass game. They have a measurement now, but they've really controlled the line of scrimmage and the ball and really kept Mount Anthony's defense on the field a lot longer than they wanted to be.
Early going fourth quarter, it's Rutland 20, Mount Anthony 3, and they're measuring now. That was just a little bit shy of being a 10-yard run by Burgoyne because the Raiders will have it 2nd and inches at their own 37-yard line. Left side hash mark. Tomorrow, MSJ and Essex in the other semifinal game in town this weekend. We'll be on the air at 1:15 with a pregame show. Kickoff time at 1:30. Mansky's in. He's tied right. Mackin's tight left, couple of setbacks behind Stempeck. Palomo wing on the left. As the handoff goes to Jeff Sin, takes it right, then against the grain across the 40 to about the 43. First down and more. Picks up 6, 1st and 10 for Rutland High. Wade on the tackle for Mount Anthony.
Again, Rutland able to move the yardsticks. We talked about they've got a comfortable 20-3 lead here. 11-11 to go here in the fourth quarter. They just want to run some clock, get some first downs, and try to work the field position and keep the ball away from Mount Anthony's offense.
Marking between the hash marks. 1st and 10 for the Raiders. They're on 43-yard line. Sin and Gallagher are the setbacks now behind Stempeck. Inside handoff to Sin across the 45 and Sin out to about the 50-yard line. Pick up a 7. It'll be 2nd and 3 for Rutland High at the 50. John George on the tackle.
Again, they run a little counter play trying to get the defense going one way. Then they bring Jess Sin back towards us on that particular play. And again, the offensive line, you can't say enough about these guys doing a great job. As we talked about a few minutes ago, Mount Anthony getting worn down a little bit, and Rutland able to rip off large chunks of ground now.
2nd down and 3 for the Raiders. They're going to mark it just shy of the 50. The Raiders have it at their own 49-yard line.
Have an official's timeout. One of the Mount Anthony players has trouble with his helmet.
Raiders out in front 20-3 with 10:20 left here in the football game at Alumni Field. Huge crowd here. Good night for football, too. It was a misty rain early, but really hasn't been bothersome. I don't think it's rained at all since. Just a very, very light, fine rain. finally back in here. It'll be 2nd and 3 for the Raiders at their own 49-yard line, going left to right here in the 4th quarter. Gallagher and Sin will be the setbacks behind the junior quarterback, John Stempeck. Bliss is tied right, got him in wide left. Mansky's tied on the left now. So the handoff goes to Gallagher, and he gets it to about the line of scrimmage, and then he gets driven back as he took it left. It'll be 3rd and 3. Raiders have it at their own 49. Driven back by Jason Powers. Coming into the football game is Jacob Downey now for Chuck Gallagher. So Downey and Sin, the sophomore bookends, will be in the backfield. Eventually they line up what appears to be the power I behind Stempeck. The ends are tight. Hand off to Sin. Takes it left to the 50, 45, 40, and Jeff Sin down at the Mount Anthony 36-yard line. Pick up a 15 for Jeff Sin, the sophomore. 1st and 10 Raiders. Percy and George on the tackle for Mount Anthony.
Jeff Sin has very good speed. It's very deceptive speed. Doesn't look like he's going that fast. He also has the ability to stop on a dime, literally, and make a one-step back, cutback move. He did that time to get outside, got down to the far sideline, and picked up another big first down for the Raider offense.
1st and 10 for the Raiders at the Mount Anthony 36, 20-3. The Raiders in front, 9 minutes left in the football game. And the Raiders operate out of the power I, and the ends are tight. On Stempeck on the deep handoff, and taking it right is Sin as he picked his way across the line of scrimmage, picked up about a yard, dropped at the 35. It'll be 2nd and 9. Might just give him back to the line of scrimmage. Berard on the tackle. They are going to give him back to the line of scrimmage. 2nd and 10 for the Raiders, the Patriot 36-yard line.
Try started way back about their own 5-yard line for the Raiders, and they've put together some first down, a couple of big runs, one by Kieran Burgoyne, and then also Jeff Sin, and just keep grinding things out.
Lomo and Downey, the outback, Sin the deep back out of the power I, and the ends are tight. 2nd down play for Stempeck and company. Inside handoff to Belomo. Belomo bounces off one man at the 34, and then he gets driven back. He picked up a couple. Went back by a host of Mount Anthony Patriots. Here in the ball game on the offensive line for the Raiders, Tyler Trombley. He was supposed to alternate today anyway. He might have been in there before. The tackle made by Jason Powers. Raiders have it 3rd down and 9, just inside the Mount Anthony 35-yard line. We'll call it the 34. 20-3 Rutland, 7:44 left in the football game. Bliss in wide right. Belomo back to a wing back on the left side. As the handoff goes to Sin and fumbles the football, and let's see, Mount Anthony has recovered. Mount Anthony has recovered the fumble, and they have it 1st and 10 at their own 37-yard line. Fumble recovery by Tony Bernard.
Looked like just didn't get the handoff that time from John Stempeck. It fell there, and Tony Bernard, who's playing a good job on the defensive end for Mount Anthony, able to get the fumble recovery and get the Mount Anthony good field position. That may be the big turnover they need to start their comeback.
Rutland in front, 20-3. 7:25 left here in the football game. Laughlin sends Lacasse wide right, George wide left. They operate out of the eye. And Laughlin, the Mount Anthony junior quarterback, drops it back, rolls left. He's going to keep. Takes it toward the near sideline. Got it to about the 40 and really upended here by Nathan Belomo.
Nice open field tackle by Nathan Belomo as he came up and had good form, got Laughlin and just wrapped the arms up and lifted him up and drove him right down. It looked like Laughlin was going to get a lot more than they did, but got about 4 or 5 yards out of it.
He did get 4. It'll be 2nd and 6. That wasn't an open field tackle. That was an open field assassination, I think. 2nd and 6 for the Patriots at their own 41-yard line. Laughlin on the handoff to Bernard, straight ahead, nothing much there. Picks up about a yard to the 42 and gets driven back. Gets over there on the tackle. Downey was over there as well. It'll be 3rd down coming up for the Patriots. 3rd down along 5. 6:23 left in the football game. Rutland 20, Mount Anthony 3.
Again, the Rutland defense doing a tremendous job all game long. They've risen to the challenge every time. They've only given up the 1 field goal, and that was set up after the block punt. They've done a good job just stymieing this explosive Mount Anthony offense.
Lacasse wide left, George wide right. Nor the up back, Berard the deep back out of the eye. And faking and then taking himself straight ahead is Laughlin, and he picks up about 3 to the 44, dropped by Justin Anderson. And it'll be 4th down, about 3 for the Patriots. Clock continues to run. 5:47 left in the football game. The Raider defensive unit has been superb tonight. Just absolutely superb.
They certainly have. It looks like Mount Anthony's going to punt.
Raiders getting a 2-yard touchdown run from Steve Carey, getting a 14-yard touchdown pass from Jimmy and Agnes to Justin Anderson, and a 27-yard touchdown run by Kevin Burgoyne. One was a 2-point play by Burgoyne after the second touchdown. Kabelia back to his own 31 to boot it away, if indeed they do that. The Raiders aren't buying it. Nobody back deep. And the snap is on the ground of one hop. Kabelia's got it, gets it away, and we got a penalty coming up against the Raiders as it came to Mackin over the shoulder at the 28, got it to about the 30, and he's dropped right there. I believe we have roughing the kicker against Rutland. Kenny Bates came on strong and didn't get a piece of the football and went into Kabelia, and this will give Mount Anthony a 1st down.
Tough break for the Raiders. It looked like when they snapped the ball, they were indecisive whether they were going to snap to the short man to Kabelia, the punter. He fielded the punt and got off the punt just as Kenny Bates came through, and Kenny hit him after the punt, so it looks like Mount Anthony will be able to get the ball back.
The Mount Anthony scoring came after the Raiders were up 6-0 late in the second quarter. Mount Anthony made it 6-3 Raiders at the time. 37-yard field goal by Justin Kabelia. 15-yard penalty for roughing the kicker. We've seen one on each side tonight. This will give Mount Anthony a 1st and 10 at the Raider 41-yard line. 4:54 left in the game. The Raiders in control. They lead at 20-3. A couple of wideouts right as the Patriots operate out of the eye. Laughlin drops it back, looking, shoots it downfield over the middle. It is complete to Lacasse, and he's inside the 25, inside the 20, down to about the 18. Tackled by Kevin Burgoyne. Pass play from Laughlin to Lacasse over the middle, and it's a Mount Anthony 1st down. They're going to mark it at the Raider 19-yard line.
Lacasse just comes down and hooks in between the deep safety man, and Laughlin put the ball right on the money there. Got a good completion, and the 1st down is the Raiders call a timeout, I believe.
What a 22-yard pickup. We got a timeout on the field. We'll be back after this 30-second break. 4:39 left in the game. The Raiders lead the Patriots 20-3. Quite frankly, the Raiders are dominating this game a lot more than I thought they would.
We expected a tough game all coming into this game, and probably the best performances we've seen from the Raiders is they seem to get better each game this season, and they're really peaking at the right time in the playoffs.
And wide right for Mount Anthony. They operate out of the eye. And Laughlin barks him out. Handoff to Bernor off right tackle, and he hops his way inside the 15 to about the 14-yard line. Tackled by Kenny Bates. Picked up 5. It'll be 2nd and 5 for the Patriots.
Mount Anthony not moving as quickly as we thought. There's about 4 minutes and 20 seconds to go. They're down by 17 points. They need 3 scores to get this game, and they don't really seem to be picking the pace up quite as quickly as we thought they would be.
Give them 6. It'll be 2nd and 4 for the Patriots. The Raider 13-yard line. Right side hash mark. Lacasse and George both wide right. As the handoff goes to Berard on the draw inside the 10, and he's down at about the 6-yard line. Picks up 7. This is a Mount Anthony 1st down. 11 1st and goal. And on the tackle, Jacob Downey. 20-3, Rutland, 3:58 left in the football game. 1st and goal for Mount Anthony. They're going to mark it at the Raider 6-yard line.
This drive been helped along again by the roughing the punter penalty, but again the Rutland defense has done a tremendous job all season long.
The mark it between the hash marks. They operate out of the eye. Laughlin fakes to the 1st man, and then on the end around, the pitch to Lacasse, and he falls down at the line of scrimmage. It'll be 2nd and goal. If he didn't fall down, he would have run right into Nathan Belomo, who was right there anyway.
A little trickery there by Mount Anthony, but again, Nathan Belomo playing it excellent from his other side linebacker position, held his ground, and Lacasse would have been clobbered by Nathan if he hadn't slipped on the wet grass.
2nd and goal for Mount Anthony, the Raiders 6. Raiders in front 20-3, 3:25 left in the football game. Wide right, Lacasse. Slot right is George. Again, they operate out of the eye. Laughlin barks him out. Laughlin play action, rolls right, throws short. It is complete at about the 3-yard line and tackled immediately. Cass on the catch. Or Berard, rather. He was the man coming out of the backfield. He was tackled by Bliss. Picked up 3. It'll be 3rd down and goal. They're going to mark it at the 4-yard line. The pass completion to Berard. 3rd and goal for Mount Anthony at the Raider 4-yard line. Laughlin on the handoff, and it goes to Bernard. He's in for the touchdown, or Berard rather, on the touchdown. Berard on the touchdown from 4 yards out, and the Raiders lead it now by a score of 20-9. Chris Berard with a 4-yard touchdown run. That coming with 2:37 left in the football game.
The first real sustained drive out the game for Mount Anthony. Again, it helped along with the roughing the punter penalty. That time, the running back Berard just came on a little bit of a counter to our side here on the field and able to break a tackle the line of scrimmage and kind of slip into the end zone for the 6 points.
Raiders have the 20-9 lead now. The 4-yard touchdown run by Chris Berard as Cabillas in to attempt the extra point. And a bad snap recovered by the Raiders. Something happened and never even got back to the holder. Went about 2 feet back, so the try for the extra point no good. And it's 20-9 Raiders. 2:37 left in the football game. Back for the kickoff after this 30-second timeout.
Protection. That's life insurance the State Farm way.
Our score, Rutland 20 and Mount Anthony 9. A 4-yard touchdown run by Chris Berard of the Patriots to cut the Raider lead to 20-9. The try for the extra point no good. 2:37 left in the game. The Raiders are 2 minutes and 37 seconds away from their 3rd straight trip to the state title game. They're 2 minutes and 37 seconds away from making reservations in Essex. I think they can start to do that right now.
Mount Anthony will probably go for the onside kick here as Coach Beerwith has all the guys with the good hands out here. We'll see what kind of play Mount Anthony tries on the onside kick here. The ball has to go 10 yards before Mount Anthony can recover it.
Justin Cabilla is the kicker.
I think they're just going to run out of the huddle like a lot of teams do.
Well, the Raiders are certainly aware of it. Stempak and Anderson, Belomo, Dauphiné, Bliss, a lot of sure-handed players up at the 50-yard line, 10 yards down, to anticipate the onside kick. Here's the kick by Cabilla, and he tries to pop it over the first line. It goes to Downing, who makes the catch, and he's tackled immediately at the Raider 33. And we have a penalty marker down. I think Mount Anthony might have been offsides anyway. Now, can you decline this, or is it an automatic penalty here?
I'm not sure if they can decline it or not. They're pointing towards them. Jacob Downing doing a good job of catching that ball. If he'd called it fair catch, that would have been the perfect thing to do, because that way if you can catch the ball with the fair catch and not be hit and risk a fumble. Looks like they're going to have to kick it again, so I guess they don't have I don't think they have the option of declining it. In other words, I mean, you decline it and you have the ball instead of giving them another opportunity here. So they kick from the 35 instead. And again, those same guys that I talked about, Bliss, Stempak, Anderson, Dauphiné, and Belomo, all up on that first line, 10 yards downfield. Mackin, Gallagher, Downey, Burgoyne, Szymanski, and also Eric Gauthier. Gauthier and Burgoyne are back deep around the Raider 27-yard line. 20-9, Rutland in front, 2:35 left in the football game here, the Division I semis. The winner goes on to the state title game a week from tonight in Essex against the winner of tomorrow's MSJ Essex game. Here's the Cabilla boot, and he pops this one up, and this will go out of bounds, and again they're offsides. They were very lucky that time. A player for Mount Anthony actually ran under and fielded the punt, and the kickoff, when you can do that once it goes 10 yards, the Raiders have to come up and make sure they field that punt.
So what he's trying to do, instead of kicking it on the ground, he's trying to get it over that first line that I talked about, Anderson and Dauphiné and the rest, pop it between them and the second line.
And what happened, it worked to perfection, except they were offside. I think it was one of the defensive backs came in and ran right down, and he actually filled the punt.
Lenathan, I think.
Before it actually hit the ground. What the Raiders have to do is they have to come up and field that one before the Mount Anthony players do that.
So now they'll try kicking it from the 30. Now, even if they do recover, they'll not very good field position.
Interested to see what side they go back to now. They seem to have more luck on our side over here.
And here's the Cabelia booth. This time it's on the ground, and Stempek comes up with it and goes to the deck at the Mount Anthony 44. So John Stempek recovered the onside kick, and the Raiders have it 1st and 10 at the Patriot 44. Raiders with a 20-9 lead here with 2:31 left in the football game.
Very important, obviously, for the Raider backs just to hold on to the football. Don't worry about getting yards. Just hold on to the football. Don't give the ball back to Mount Anthony too quickly.
Raiders have it 1st and 10, the Mount Anthony 44-yard line. Couple of setbacks behind an Agnes as he goes to carry off left tackle inside the 40 down to about the 37-yard line. A pickup of a quick 7 by Carey. Tony Bernard on the tackle. Raiders have it 2nd down and 3 at the Mount Anthony 38-yard line. A minute 50 left in the football game. The clock continues to run. The Raiders lead at 20-9. They certainly now can make their reservations for Essex as Mount Anthony calls for a timeout. They have a timeout on the field. We'll be back after this 30-second break. Down in 3. They're going to mark it at the Mount Anthony 37. A minute 49 left, and the Raiders lead at 20-9.
And they're back in the state championship game. Coming into this season, there was a lot of questions about the Raider team. They lost a lot of players from last year. Coach John Bearworth done a good job, brought the team along slowly. They stumbled a little bit in mid-season, but the last few games we've seen them look very impressive and get a lot of momentum going into the state championship game.
Sin and Downey are the setbacks. Palomo a wing on the left. Jimmy and Agnes, the sophomore quarterback, 2nd down play. And Agnes on the handoff to Downey. Downey inside the 30, inside the 25, and Downey down at the Mount Anthony 21-yard line. Jacob Downey, another sophomore, picking up 16 yards and a Raider 1st down. Brian Kuhn on the tackle for Mount Anthony. And at 41 left in the football game, 20-9 Rutland.
Mount Anthony trying to get some pressure on there, trying to get the ball quickly and strip it, and Jacob Downey able to run through a gap and through the arm tackles as Mount Anthony trying to strip the ball from him and picked up some good gain. They got a 1st down and more importantly keeps the clock turning.
They mark it between the hash marks. Keith Parker still in its center. He's over the football. Downey and center the setbacks. Wing on the right, Palomo. Jimmy and Agnes, the sophomore quarterback. 1st and 10 for the Raiders. The Mount Anthony 21. Hand off to Sin. Takes it straight ahead, and he runs into a stone wall and gets driven back. For picking up yardage back to the line of scrimmage. It'll be 2nd and 10 for the Raiders. The Mount Anthony 21. And on the tackle, Chris Percy. Less than a minute left in the football game. The Raiders are looking to be in the state title game for the 3rd straight year. They're not just looking, they've got it.
We talked about just a great performance. Their defense really stymied Mount Anthony. They gave us the touchdown late, but they had a couple times when they were challenged down deep in their own territory and able to turn away Mount Anthony.
I believe Jonah Bassett is in the backfield along with Sin. And now we got penalty markers down. 34 seconds left here in the football game, and it's too much time against the Raiders. So they'll move it back 5 yards, and the Raiders will have it 2nd down at the Mount Anthony 26-yard line, 2nd down and 15. So I'll tell you, I really thought this game would go right down to the wire. The Raiders, of course, impressive in their win earlier against Mount Anthony, 13-0. They've been even more impressive in this one tonight.
They certainly have in the first game. Mount Anthony did move the ball very well, just couldn't get any points. Tonight they had no offense at all.
Jonah Bassett and Sin gets the call as he takes it left, and he takes it against the grain, got it inside the 25 to about the 22 before he's dropped, picks up 4. Clock continues to run, coming down on 20 seconds left. The Raiders that far away from another trip to the state title game. And another trip to Essex as the clock runs down, 11 seconds, 10. Raiders have it at the Mount Anthony 23-yard line. They are not going to run off another play. The Raiders are going to Essex. That's it. Rutland High has defeated Mount Anthony by a score of 20-9, and the Raiders go to the state title game for the 3rd straight year. A very, very impressive victory tonight against the Mount Anthony Patriots. That's your final. Rutland 20, Mount Anthony 9.